Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the most exciting new ingredients in skincare, the one that's getting a lot of buzz these days, and those are exosomes. Have you guys heard of exosomes? Do you want to try exosomes? Have you tried them already? Are you using them in their skincare? Are you singing their praises? Today, I want to take a deep dive into exosomes. I've looked at some of the research and I personally find them to be a very, very exciting new avenue for skincare and in particular anti-aging skincare, because I wanted to find out if there really is any there, if there really is something there that could make it worth $500 an ounce for an exosome product. And I want to decide if there's something that I need to either use in my skincare routine topically or possibly go out and use in an in-office setting, either with microneedling or in conjunction with a laser treatment, which is some of the things that they are touted to be great for. So if you love geeking out about skincare like I do, then go ahead and give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So exosomes aren't technically new. They actually have been existing in our bodies, in mammals, in certain plants since the beginning of mammals and plants on the planet. But the idea that they can be harnessed and used in skincare to affect really great changes on the skin is a pretty new and pretty emerging field. And that's why I'm so excited about it. But I gotta say, after looking at the research is definitely in its infancy. If I do a quick PubMed search on just plain old exosomes, it comes up with about 170,000 different research papers on it. And you can see by the graph on the side that most of the research has only been done since about 2015. So exosomes have really only been studied pretty intensively in the last 10 years. All right, so first let's talk about what exosomes are and how they work. Exosomes were first discovered in the early 80s and they were thought to be cellular garbage carriers. It was later discovered that they carry a biologically active cargo like proteins, DNA, messenger RNA, peptides, metabolites, and lipids. Imagine them as little bubbles that contain instructions and ingredients, and what they do is they get passed out of one cell and then they bind to another cell where they communicate those instructions and those ingredients. So it's a really cool way for the cells to talk to each other. One of the things that I find most interesting about exosomes is that they can be secreted by lots of different types of cells. So exosomes are secreted by stem cells, they can be secreted by cancer cells. They can come from keratinocyte cells, fibroblast cells, immune cells. They can be sourced from bodily fluids like blood and saliva. They can also be secreted by bone marrow stem cells, placental stem cells. Exosomes are secreted by just about every type of cell in our bodies, as well as some plant cells as well. They can also be created in the lab from specific fungi or specific bacterium. So, they're not just being looked at for anti-aging skincare, they're being looked at for cancer treatments, for wound healing, for hair growth, for immune function, for diagnostics, and for drug delivery, in addition to skin functioning. Exosomes are thought to harness the body's natural regenerative powers, which when you translate it into skincare means that they can help to produce collagen and elastin, they can help with wound healing, they can help to reduce inflammation, reduce discolorations, increase brightness in the skin, they can help with skin's overall health and improve barrier function. So that's all great, but unfortunately a lot of that is still very theoretical because, like I said before, a lot of the research is really just still in its infancy. In the studies that I read, the exosomes were swapped in and out fairly freely, and it seemed like almost all exosomes did have some effect on whatever it was that they were trying to do, whether it was plant to human or human to pig, or human to mouse, or mouse to human. It seemed like the crossover was pretty universal. In the preclinicals, which is mainly cells in a dish and animal models, not really anything being done on humans using topical things that you can put on your face. The results in those do look promising, but they still need to be transferred over to actual humans. And there are also a lot of issues with creating and mass producing exosomes and getting them into a bottle that you can take home and put on your skin that will actually get into your skin and work. And, with skincare, one of the biggest obstacles to skincare a lot of time is whether or not it can even get into the skin. And it's funny because I see a lot of information out there that says, oh yeah, they get into the skin really, really easily because they're small enough and they're lipid coated. And since our skin is lipid loving, then that means that they have an affinity to skin and they can just get right in. But I actually haven't seen that reflected in much of the literature. A lot of the studies say that the penetration into the skin is helped a ton by either microneedling or using it when there are already channels into the skin, like after a Fraxel, or injecting it directly into the skin. So that kind of leads me to think that maybe it doesn't get into the skin so well, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not a scientist. Like I always tell you guys, I'm just a regular person, like trying to figure this stuff out on my own here at home. So there are also a number of technical issues that are kind of standing in the way between getting good quality exosomes into a bottle of skincare. One of which is the type of exosome that can be mass-produced and put into a bottle to sit on the shelf and then come and, you use it on your skin. So most of the studies that I read used stem cell-derived exosomes, and they were either injected or microneedled. So the type of exosomes that are available for purchase in an over-the-counter product are not going to be derived from stem cells. They're going to be derived from plants, or they're going to be derived from bodily fluids like blood, things that are more readily available. Stem cells are really like specialized cells in the body, and they're not readily available to be used in over-the-counter skincare. They're just like too precious for that right now. Another issue is the time and expense it takes to isolate a specific exosome from a specific source. So they need to select the right source to get the exosomes from, then they need to extract them somehow. There are like 3 or 4 different methods of extraction. One is considered like the gold standard and what they use for most of the studies, but there are other ways to get them. Then once the exosomes are extracted from the source, then they have to be tested to see what they actually contain. Like they have different purposes, and so you need them to be fairly homogenized to put them into a bottle of skincare to know that they're all saying the same things. For example, if you're extracting exosomes from bone marrow, those exosomes might be saying, hey, calm that inflammation over there. There's a wound that needs to be healed. But if you also extract exosomes from a cancer cell, then those exosomes may say, hey, everybody reproduce a lot, make more cells because this cancer wants to grow. So that goes to the issue of purity. It also goes to the issue of what's contained in the little bubble and what it's trying to tell the other cells. And it also pertains to the issue of safety. And, much like with growth factors, where the promise of growth factors is that they tell all your cells to replicate. But the thing is, they don't know the difference from a cancer cell and a regular cell. So if they're going to tell cells to replicate, then they're going to tell all cells equally to replicate. They're not going to say, okay, you healthy cell replicate, but you cancer cell don't replicate. It's going to be across the board universally. And the same fear is kind of there with exosomes as well, because you don't know if the exosome that you have, say, in your skincare is calling for a cancer cell to replicate, or if it's calling for wound healing. It's very hard to know exactly what is contained in that little bubble, but that's part of the process of making exosomes, is you have to actually know what's in the bubble so that you can kind of predict the outcome of what you're going for and have the right little bubbles applied to the right problem. All that to say that there's currently no consensus or standardization on safe extraction, purification, quantification, concentration, or dose when it comes to exosomes. And because of that, exosomes are not approved for any use, medical or cosmetic, by the FDA here in the US, and they're also not approved for any use, medical or cosmetic, in the EU. And that includes plant-based exosomes as well. So until there's more research and more testing and more FDA oversight, there's not enough known about them to really feel secure that they're going to do something in your skin. I think that in general, they're not ready for prime time. I have been thinking about doing something like a microneedling treatment and using exosomes. But then again, you could also do PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma with microneedling. I saw a study that used radio frequency microneedling all over the whole face, but on one side of the face, they used stem cell derived exosomes versus platelet-rich plasma on the other side of the face. Both sides of the face had increased collagen production. They also had reduction in wrinkles. They also had better clarity and reduction in discolorations, but that they were about the same for both sides of the face. I mean, as far as microneedling goes, your choice, I guess if you want to do something in addition to it, is to use PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma, which is spinning down your own personal blood. So with that, there's less chance of having like any kind of reaction to it because it comes from your own body. It's also less expensive than the microneedling with exosomes. So I did pick up 2 exosome products. So I have the one from Plated. This is kind of like the super luxury gold standard one. I think probably the best one that you can currently get. And then there's a new one out from the Inky List, which is of course a plant-derived exosome. And actually what they call them is not plant-derived exosomes. They're like plant-derived exosome-like something. So they're not even actual exosomes. They're something else, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll put it down here if I can think of what the term is. It's like plens. So this one is the one from Plated. This is hugely expensive. This is $258 for a half an ounce. So that's all you get in there. But this thing is jam-packed with exosomes. It says that there are 1 trillion platelet-derived exosomes in every bottle. And their marketing says that their intense serum is the ideal anti-aging product proven to reduce the appearance of redness, brown spots, fine lines, and wrinkles. And they use ultrafiltration extraction. They use blood platelets from FDA-regulated donation banks in the United States. So the exosomes are derived from human blood. This doesn't have any human blood in it. That's the reason that exosomes are sort of exciting, is that a lot of the other technologies like growth factors and stem cells, those you need a living cell, right? And it's hard to put a living cell in a bottle like this and have it actually live long enough to get on your skin and do something. Exosomes are derived from living cells, but they are not living cells. And the exosomes, the little bubbles, are from blood platelets, not stem cells. And as I said before, most of the more encouraging research is done on exosomes derived from stem cells. I didn't see much research into exosomes derived from platelets or blood, but this is what they've chosen to use because, of course, there is a readily available source of blood and platelets. You know, stem cells, I'm not sure if that, what the price point would possibly be on this. If they actually tried to get exosomes from stem cells, it'd probably be $2,000 for a half an ounce, which would just put it out of the price range for anybody. So $258 for a half an ounce. You're supposed to use this twice a day. So if you use 1 pump twice a day, a half an ounce would probably last you about 15 to 30 days. Here's what it looks like. It's definitely got a nice serum texture. It doesn't feel like a gel. It doesn't feel super heavy. It smells a little bloody. It's interesting. It's not a strong smell. If I didn't know it was blood derived, I don't think I would have been able to pinpoint that as like the smell of blood. So it doesn't smell bad. So the nice thing about the Plated product is they did their own clinical study on it where they used the actual product. They studied about 50 people. They had them apply it topically twice a day. And the one person, the results that she had were just amazing. Now, they're not results that I would say that I particularly need or I'm looking for because she started out with so much redness on her face. It almost looks like she has rosacea or something, although they did say in the study that if anyone had any kind of a skin condition like rosacea, melasma, whatever, any kind of irritation, had used any other topical, they booted them out and they weren't included in the study. So I don't know why this person's face is so red to start with, but let me just show you the before and after pictures on her. The redness is so remarkably diminished. Like that is just amazing. So if you're someone who struggles with like chronically red face and you have tried everything else and you have the money for this, I would say that maybe give it a try. But that is not a huge cohort to base this on, what I'm saying. But I saw this picture and was like, oh gosh, this stuff really works. Do I know it really works? No, but that one picture, I bet would sell a lot of people on at least trying this, right? But the thing is the price, right? So the study was a 12-week study, so 3 months. So if you wanted to use this for 3 months, it would cost you about $1,000. That outlay of money, you're getting pretty close to being able to do a full-on Fraxel treatment for your face, a laser treatment. And I can guarantee you that you will get more wrinkle reduction and more collagen production and more redness reduction. Well, maybe not a redness reduction, but definitely more brown discoloration reduction from a Fraxel treatment than you would from using this for 3 months. And with your Fraxel treatment, it's a one and done. You'll be recovered in about a week and your skin will be beautiful. So for a year, that's gonna be like $4,000 on this. You could bank that money for your neck lift. You could bank that money for like 2 or 3 laser treatments. I mean, there's a lot you could do with that money. You could put a down payment on a car. You know, that's a lot to spend on skincare when there are, you know, proven ingredients like tretinoin and estriol and vitamin C and lactic acid and peptides and ceramides and niacinamide and all those great things that have years and years of research showing that they're safe, that they're effective. And this just doesn't have any years of research currently showing that it's safe or that it's effective. You know, with these things that are so expensive, I know there's people out there who would just never go in and get an in-office treatment. And maybe for you, and if you have that kind of money, then this is something that you want to try. I'll definitely link it in the info box below the video. But anyway, that's the plated one. Then the other one I got is from the Inky List. Now this one is far less expensive. This is their Exosome Hydro Glow Complex. This is $22 for 1 ounce. It's powered by 3 million plant-based exosomes. And according to the website, they are going to boost collagen production by 300%, reduce inflammation by 55%, and improve skin repair by 63% in 8 hours? What? Are you delusional, Inky List? What? In 8 hours? Wait. Did I copy that right? I have to go check that and see if that's what it really says, because I can't believe that they even have that on their website. It does have 3 asterisks next to it, and the asterisks say, in vitro tests show that Cica exosomes increase the genes related to collagen production by approximately 300% in a Petri dish. Okay, very different from doing that on your face. And let's see what the Inky List one is like. Oh, it's yellow. Pretty color. Feels nice rubbing on too. It has more of a gel-like lotion texture than a serum. It smells fine. I believe it's fragrance-free, so there's that product. There are also other products. Peach and Lily just came out with one that's in more of a $65 price point, I think. That one, I'm pretty sure, is a plant-derived exosome as well. I don't have it. And the one that I'm least interested in, I'd say, is the one from Medicube. That one is the one with the little spicules in it. It has all these little like sharp barb things that when you rub it on your face, they actually like prick your skin and injure it. And then it's supposed to allow the exosomes to get in there. Like for me, this is not how I want to do skincare. I don't want to rub something on and rip the surface of my face open to get the active ingredients in, but it scares me. So that's another one that I've seen that I'm probably not too interested in trying. And I guess the main message on exosomes for me is that I feel like they definitely need a lot more study before they're going to go mainstream, before the promise of them is going to be realized. They're being studied for real medical applications, and that's where the advancements are probably going to come in first. You know, since the research has only been going on for 10 years, it could be another 10 years before they actually get that all figured out. I'm really not that interested in them right now, but I am really, really hopeful that they do pan out in the future and not too far of the distant future. So yeah, I'm excited about them. Not sure I'm ready to use them just yet, but I think it is exciting new technology. So that's it for today's video, everybody. If you found it helpful and informative, go ahead and give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As always, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.